Subhanallah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar.
We see that in our everyday life, in our regular everyday life, we have a very important factor. And maybe there are very few homes that do not have this factor present in them. And in every home, we will see this thing that is present, and that is a washing machine. What is the item? The washing machine. Now the washing machine, there are probably few and far between homes that do not possess a washing machine. And why do we all need a washing machine? When we have a house or move to some place, we all have this on the list that we need the washing machine, and obviously because it washes the clothes, it purifies the clothes. So it's lazim, it's essential, and we are in extreme need that we need to have a washing machine to purify and clean our clothes. Why? Because this is a natural trait of man, that when he wears clothes they get dirty, smelly. Doesn't matter whatever color clothes we wear in our everyday life, when you go somewhere they get a bit dirty, a stain comes on there, something falls onto the clothes. And even if they don't, after some time the sweat and the smell of the sweat comes onto the clothes and they start to smell. So it's so important to wash the clothes, that every man, the next day, third day, fourth day, by the fifth day, or at least once in the week, he washes his clothes, cleans his clothes. This is how important is the washing machine for our lives. And if we see to wash the clothes, you can't just have an empty washing machine, the empty drum. The next important factor or element that is required, and it's water. You need to have water. If you have a washing machine with a water supply, then your clothes will be washed, otherwise they won't get washed. Okay, right, so let's say we've got a washing machine and we've got water. Even then your clothes will not get washed, the stains won't get removed, and that's the third element you need, which is the detergent. It could be washing powder, it could be a tablet, it could be a liquid. Other things you can put in, softener and fragrance, doesn't make any difference. But the three things are very important that you need. And what are they? The three things are the washing machine, the water and the detergent. And then when we use the washing machine, the end result will be that our clothes will be clean and pure, and there'll be no stains left on the clothes, and they'll be pure, and then we'll wear them and utilize the clothes for what we've got them for. So insan, the human being, his example is like the cloth, and the insan, the human being, also gets dirty, gets impurity, but the quality of that dirt is different. Yes, so for example, a cloth or your clothes get spoilt. The way that the human being gets spoilt and impure is different. Rather, it's even worse. And a human being gets spoilt and dirty more quicker, and you cannot save yourself from this. It doesn't matter what you do. Now, whatever is within us, the sins in our lives, and a human being naturally commits sins. Allah Ta'ala has made the human being like this, that somehow, somewhere, he will commit a sin from eyes or tongue or from the hands or from the body. So there are two things now that we can do. Either the actual root cause, which is the sin, which increases within, like in the hadith, the Holy Prophet ﷺ stated that human being does one sin and it puts a dark blot on his heart, and it's such an intense blot that you cannot remove it. then when that blot comes on the heart, it spreads, and the sins continue and the blots continue. Then the sins continue and the blots come on the heart. So the person's heart becomes like coal and like a rock, sealed. Just like your clothes, if you don't wash them, your clothes, then eventually, if they were white originally, then after a few days they'll become yellow and sort of browny and a bit dirty and smelly because you don't wash the clothes. So in the same way, the human being, his inner state, internally, it gets affected by the sins, it gets spoiled, it becomes dirty, it becomes smelly. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, has prepared the purification for our inner self, just like for the clothes. So if a person keeps purifying and washing himself, then he remains clean and he does tazkiyah. This is called tazkiyah. And we hear about this regularly. This is a majlis of tazkiyah. That's why I'm revising this subject again with this example, so that our brains can understand this point, and so we can understand the importance and we don't waste time in our life. So just like you need a washing machine critically to clean the clothes, and it's lazim in every home, it's fard, isn't it? It's fard, you've got to have a washing machine nowadays. In the same way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for the human being, the insan, for his tazkiyah, we call it wash the clothes. And when we wash inside ourselves, we do tazkiyah. So when you clean clothes, we say we're washing our clothes. When you clean your inner state, your batin, then that's called tazkiyah. Rasulullah brought the Quran and his hikmah, وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ tazkiyah. So then imagine how important is tazkiyah as a subject in Islam. Can a human being say, I don't need this subject, I can leave this subject, I don't need to study this subject, I don't need to pay attention to this subject? Then he's doing dhulm on his own self, because he's discarding. We are doing extreme dhulm on ourselves if we don't study and implement the subject of tazkiyah. So in the same way, Allah Ta'ala has prepared for our batin. Just like you have the washing machine, then there's a washing machine for the batin, subhanAllah. And if I need water for my clothes, then Allah Ta'ala has given water for the tazkiyah of the batin. Allahu Akbar. The third element we need to wash the clothes, alongside the washing machine, you need detergent. So Allah has given the detergent for the batin. Allah Ta'ala has given the resource. And three things are lazim, intertwined. You need a washing machine, very expensive. There's no water, you cannot clean the clothes. It can be very expensive and technologically advanced washing machine. Okay, let's say the machine is expensive, nice water, no detergent, then the stains won't be removed. And when the clothes come out, same dark stains, and you'll complain. Same way, lazim malzoom, essential. If you want to do tazkiyah and you want to purify your batin, your heart, then the three things that are critical, you need the washing machine, you need the water, and you need what? The detergent, the soap. So in the same way, you see, what is the washing machine? The Quran and the Hadith are speaking the language of the Quran and the Hadith. The pious predecessors have given us the tafsir of this, and I present this in your service. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained the importance of this. May Allah give us the understanding in our hearts, so that these majlis that we gather and we go to the khanqahs, we meet the awliya Allah. This is essential for a person or a believer, important. And those who don't get this, then look at the difference between the two individuals. Those who don't have guidance through an elder, those who do. So what are the three resources we need? First, we need a washing machine. So what's the similarity of the washing machine Islamically? Secondly, we need the water and the detergent. So if you don't have the washing machine, the water and the detergent, where will you put the clothes? So the washing machine for tazkiyah, alhamdulillah, is the company of the Sheikh, the company of the teacher. The Quran has told us this. So the first thing we need to do, if you want to do your tazkiyah, you need the machine, the washing machine. And the machine Islamically is the Sheikh, the teacher, the Sheikh. If you have a Sheikh, then you go to the next step, you look for the water and the detergent. If a person goes to his teacher, to a Sheikh, then obviously, alhamdulillah, he'll sit in his sohbat, in his company, then it's obvious the effect will start. Allah Ta'ala has put a special quality in the washing machine. That's why if you put the clothes in the machine will be put on, and you select the program, it will turn it around and wash the clothes. So when you go to the Wali Allah, Awliya Allah, Mashayikh, it means that as soon as you sit in the company, the purification begins. Allah Ta'ala's law, through His focus, His eyesight, to shake him, gives you a cure. To see the Sheikh is shifa. Just to see the Sheikh. But niyyah has to be correct. I want to be cleaned. I want to be washed. Okay? Now this is not me or you or a human being's effect. This is Allah's effect. So the second thing we need is the water. Okay, so you've reached to the company of the Sheikh. Now to clean the batin, you need water. Just like for a washing machine, you need a water supply. So you can put the clothes in. So Allah Ta'ala is prepared. Allah Ta'ala is prepared. What's the preparation? Allah has prepared the Sheikh. And then Allah Ta'ala says water comes from the heavens, from the rivers, from the fountains, from different supplies. So the water you need to purify your batin, that comes from within the Sheikh. From within the Sheikh. The fountain gushes forth from within the Sheikh. It's an automatic fountain that emanates the fairs and washes the heart and the batin of the student. The most dirty of student, what is that fountain? That is the speech and the nasiha and the guidance that comes from the teacher. Min janibillah. Alhamdulillah, it doesn't matter how chronic is the disease of the student, but from the discussion and the words of the Sheikh, there's shifa and cure, and the words penetrate the student that he starts to get cleaned through the sohbat of the Sheikh. So dirty and full of disease, the student goes and sits in the majlis and the gathering of the Sheikh. When the speech of the Sheikh starts, his nasiha comes, his guidance comes, his advice comes, alhamdulillah, from within the batin of the student starts to get clean. This is the effect of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the nasiha of the Sheikh is essential. It's critical. After meeting a Sheikh to get his company, second quality is his guftugu, his speech, his nasiha. Listen carefully to the Sheikh. And nasiha may be one, there'll be thousands in that gathering, maybe hundreds, maybe 500, but that one nasiha is for every single individual person sitting in that gathering, and everyone will be purifying his heart individually. Sometimes when you go to a gathering of a Sheikh, and you'll hear saying that, Yar, Subhanallah, Hazrat said such a statement today that it was for me. I felt it was directly for me. It happens regularly that I went thinking, I've got some issues, I want to ask my Sheikh some questions, I want to discuss with him, and I was ashamed, I didn't want to ask him, I was modest, I couldn't present that problem, but subhanAllah, when he spoke, he solved my problem in the gathering. This happens many times to many students. I've heard this regularly in the gatherings of Wali Allah. It happened with me as well when I went to my Hazrat's gathering. I was thinking something, I will ask Hazrat, I'm ashamed, I've done something wrong, I'm thinking something, there's a doubt. Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala instills the ilham into the mind of the Sheikh that automatically when he speaks, he solves the problems of the students, because Allah Ta'ala wants to solve the problems of the student. Because you've come to the washing machine, you've got a niyyah, you've got a thought, because this world is based on means and methods. So Allah Ta'ala, He could have done anything to solve your problems. Allah is Qadir and Mutalik. But Allah Ta'ala has given the means. You have to go to the means to get the solution. There's no man in the world who cannot utilize means. If he's waiting for some miracle, then he'll wait and death will come, and you'll see the difference between the two. That, I don't need guidance, I don't need to go to a teacher, I'm fine, and it will come to me and I'll correct myself. No. Okay. So as I said, you have a washing machine, you have water. But what about the third factor? So you got the machine with the water, but the stains won't be removed, will they, if you put just clothes into a water? So now you've got a Sheikh who's the washing machine, akin to the washing machine. Secondly, you listen into his nasiha, his words, that's the water. But the stains are still there on your body, on your heart. The sins. So what do we need to do for that, my friends? Say it loudly. You need detergent. You need the soap. Say it loudly. Say it loudly. Now you understood what I'm saying. So what is the soap that the student uses? We bought the detergent, so there's a soap for the salik, for the student. And in the hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ has told us what is the soap, the detergent the student needs to use. What is that? Dhikr Allah. The remembrance of Allah subhanahu. Easy, isn't it? Kullu shayin sakilatan skalatun qalbi dhikrillah. Rasulullah ﷺ said, for everything there's a washing agent, and the washing agent for the heart is the dhikr Allah. Talqeen. You know the soap, if you put it, you have washing powder, it says recommended for this washing machine. If you put this powder in this way, make a washing machine, it will have the best combination. There are many detergents, many soaps, many washing powders. What do we do? I've got this machine, and this manufacturer said that if you use this in this machine, it will wash the clothes. The same way, there are different types of adhkar, and dhikr, all is the name of Allah. But this point, with nisbat, with the connection of the Sheikh, then this is talqeen of dhikr of Allah, repetitive dhikr. It's such a soap agent, detergent, that is given from the Sheikh. When you meet a Sheikh who's the washing machine, and he gives you his nasiha, which is the water, and he tells you, do this verse in this quantity, at this time, in this way, then when the student does the dhikr in that way, then he'll get the three things from the sobat. He's got the washing machine, alhamdulillah, the fadl wala, he's got the water through the nasiha, and he's got the recommended detergent for the machine. Then how will the impurities remain? They will be removed 100%. And this is called tazkiyah, which is the critical subject that the Prophet ﷺ taught to the ummah. Now, Rasulullah ﷺ came to this world, and he brought tazkiyah with him, with the Quran, with his hikmah. He taught tazkiyah to his companions. Because this generation we're living now, when Rasulullah came 1400 years ago, that generation, imagine the circumstances at that time. There was no tazkiyah at that time. There was darkness. The Kaaba was there, Makkah. And they did tawaf. At the time of Rasulullah, Zamzam was there, the well of Zamzam was there. And there was Safa Marwa for Sa'i, but they didn't know the way, they had no method, they were wild. So when a person doesn't do tazkiyah, he's an animal. Rather, he's worse than the animals. The student, his life, he has no understanding, no direction, doesn't know what to eat, whose daughter, whose mother, whose daughter, what's he doing, what sin, who should he take, can he speak from his tongue, how, who should he respect, who shouldn't he respect, what are manners, akhlaq. He has no methodology, there's no principle of life, he has no understanding, no vision, like an animal, a wild horse. A wild horse, beautiful, and he's running, galloping in the jungle, no one can stop him. He'll kick out, he'll beat things when everyone's scared. He's an untamed wild horse, but he's a great pedigree of horse, solid, powerful with muscles. And you have insan, ahsani taqweem. Allah says in Surah Taqweem that I've created your man, you are beautiful and magnificent, you've got good qualities, you've got the body, you've got a brain. And on the angels in the heavens speak about you are human beings in my majlis. Allah says that the angels speak about you. Allah says you are sat on the earth and I show you the vision of the heavens, the qualities and the miracles of the heavens. So human being is great, but because the human being is wild, he's dirty inside, he's impure, like a cloth that is dirty, impure. Even if you put it on, it's dirty. Will anyone sit next to you? Anyone want to come next to you? You'll smell, he'll leave your company. You say, oh, he's dirty, you can't pray salah in those dirty, impure clothes, you can't read Quran, you can't do tahara, you can't pray because it's dirty, impure. Najasa maybe. But if you're inside wild, you're spoilt, your heart is not clean, you'll swear at people, you'll dishonor people, you'll disrespect people, you'll take someone's money, you'll deceive someone, you'll do fraud with someone, you'll lie to somebody, you'll make false promises, you don't know about their daughter, their mother, don't know about their respect, you do zina, and you'll dishonor somebody. Today in our society, you see these things are common folk, very common. Where people, on top we show ourselves clean, and we show ourselves with a smile, and we say, yeah, he's a good brother, he's civilized, he knows how to shake the hand. He cannot be civilized who's not clean inside. The person who has not done tazkiyah is never civilized, impossible. Because he's not followed the guidance of Rasulullah. If you're clean on top, clean clothes, clean hands, nice fragrance, you're not civilized. Because soon your rubbish will come out. The nonsense talk will come out. You do dhulm, you'll oppress your relatives, you'll oppress other people because you don't have aql. Because you've not followed Rasulullah's guidance. Because inside you're like the wild horse. You're worse than the animal. You can only become pure when you purify yourself. Tazkiyah, the way Rasulullah taught. When you do tazkiyah, what special qualities will come? Then within you will start to sparkle. You will glow, your lataif, your different places of your body, which should be doing the dhikr of Allah. There are 7 lataif, 7 points in our body. Latifa qalb, latifa ruh, latifa sar, latifa khafi, latifa akhfa, latifa nafs, latifa qalbiya. These are the 7 points that have to be perfected. This whole world is within you. And when your spiritual world is purified, then just like you receive messages through like antennas, and the same way you will then receive the ruhani spiritual messages from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through your internal antenna. And you are insan, you will accept the messages Allah gives to you. Your body will accept wireless like a router that accepts the signals. When you purify your heart, your batin, when you got the company of the Sheikh, you got nasihah of the Sheikh, you listen to his speeches, and you're doing dhikr of Allah, then you'll be so purified inside. Then the biggest thing that will develop within you at the time, just like Rasulullah came to the Sahaba Ikram with tazkiyah, the first thing that will come into your life is that the anwarat of Rasulullah's effects will come into your body. Remember this point. Through the company of the Sheikh. The adab of the Rasulullah's adat, his blessed habits and his practices will start to come into you, and you reflect the way of Rasulullah. This is the first effect. Why? The Sahaba Ikram, look at them. What were they? What were they before they saw Rasulullah? Allahu Akbar. As Umar radiyallahu anhu, what was he? We all know. Look at the hadith, look at the lives of the greatest Sahaba. And this was their common habit. That if there was a broken leg of a sheep, then if someone broke the leg of someone's sheep, they'd fight for decades, for generations, they'd kill each other, take revenge on minor matters. What was the understanding of that woman? What was her style? that one daughter, what was the fault of the daughter? She was born and they would bury the poor daughter. They would dig a hole and the mother and father would go out of the town and bury their children. Even the animals, if they gave birth to a child which was female, go to the zoo. Then the small lions, the cubs, and the lioness, she's licking the wounds of the cubs, and they're playing with the mother. And you see the children of the tiger, they're jumping on top of the female mother, and they're helping each other, caring for each other. And the mother's looking after the animals, the children. And how dare anyone go near? Sometimes the mother will sort of scratch the children. But the human being at the time of the Prophet, he had no tazkiyah. He hadn't met his Sheikh. We all would have been like this, I tell you. All of our society would have been like this. And all of this, we're just showing things of front. Even the Sahaba showed off their decoration, nice clothes, Abu Jahl party, nice clothes, money, jewelry, chaudhries, and leaders of tribes. And he said, I am the king of the Kaaba, and I own Zamzam. And they all had made their fake respect. But internally, they were so dirty and pure and dark and wretched and oppressors. They went down. They had no respect for humanity. Forget respect. They had no regard for each other, the human being. He had a young daughter who had been born female. What was her fault? And to this extent, even if she'd grown up, she's screaming. There's hadith we've heard. Rasulullah, tears came out of his eyes when he heard such events. The Sahabi came, Ya Rasulullah, took my daughter. She said, Father, what have I done? What's my fault? Where are you taking me out of the town? The mother's dragging her. And they dug a hole. She's screaming, Baba, where are you sending me? What are you doing? Your daughters, my daughters. Could we do this with our daughters today? Can you imagine? I swear by Allah. But if we didn't have Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's all night long, a small daughter, she's crying. The father cannot sleep and the mother cannot sleep today. We can't sleep, can we? If my daughter's crying, where's the pain? Why is she crying? Has she got stomachache? Forget that. Even the auntie doesn't sleep. Even the chacha doesn't sleep today. The uncle. Even the mamuji won't sleep. If let's go further distant relatives, they won't sleep. Tell us, what can we do? Let's take your daughter to the hospital. What should we do for you? Help you? And look here, this is due to Rasulullah Sallallahu teachings that we have this love in our hearts today. Imagine the tazkiyah he brought to humanity. Today, a muashara, our spoiled society, we have so many things today. Money. We have all of the learnings of Islam. Look at the masjids Allah Ta'ala has given to us. Tell me, what a beautiful masjid we're sat in now. What a decoration around us. Beautiful walls. But how much akhlaq is in this masjid? Have we thought about this? By the people who come in, what's the position of the people in the masjid now, the akhlaq? I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just giving one example to this gathering today. I'm just presenting an instance, an example. Tell me. So the real genuine article we need to see, what's the reason? Is that we don't do tazkiyah, we don't purify our hearts, we do sujood, prostration, read Quran, fasting comes, Ramadan comes, but the frowns on our faces, the arguments, breaking promises, backbiting, gossip mongering, slandering, paining each other, we've got the same things. Ramadan comes, goes, Ramadan comes, goes, Ramadan comes, goes, because we haven't done tazkiyah in our hearts. There's no nur, no light, so we pain each other. Our hearts are dark. We don't receive, the antennas of our heart don't receive the taif. We don't spend time with the Sheikh, we don't make effort, we don't take the learnings from him. But Alhamdulillah, Allah's allowed us to tread towards the goodness. Otherwise, why would you come to me? Why do you come to this gathering? You've come with desires that we go to the gathering, the majlis. We are totally broken down and dark. But doesn't matter what we are, we have taken a step towards this great sunnah. The Rasulullah brought a great subject of tazkiyah, and we have totally left this path of tazkiyah, but we say, no, we want to come to this subject. Oh Allah, we know we are dark. If we start to count our names, we are not even equivalent to the specks of the hairs that you can find within the flower. In comparison to us, if we look at the population of the world, the people are today practicing tasawwuf and tazkiyah, they are very few and far between. They are like specks of dust in the society. But so desperate are we today to study and spread this subject, to have an awareness that I need to go to a Sheikh, a Wali Allah, I need to learn zikr, I need to purify my heart, I need to have his sohbat. Subhanallah, what a maqam a person attains when he has this understanding. The question doesn't arise, we shouldn't be fed up. Inshallah, the person who's come to tazkiyah, Allah has promised in the Quran, I won't leave you empty-handed. In such a place, you have tried to attain this ilm. The people in the world laugh at this, they look at us down. What's this subject? We look with our eyes, our houses, our families are destroyed, societies are destroyed, our leadership is destroyed. There are thieves from top to bottom, from the highest to the bottom level. Our homes, there's fasad. Deen Islam is a a game today. People laugh at the deen. We know the principles of the deen. We don't have this awareness at least that, okay, let me go and sit in the company of a sheikh and learn the deen of Islam. Say subhanallah. Subhanallah. So will Allah Ta'ala evaporate this subject from the face of this earth? Allah's karam upon mercy. I'm awakening you understand. Don't think tazkiyah is a minor thing. Don't think tasawwuf is a minor thing. This is a gathering of tazkiyah. It is essential. It is compulsory. Shaitan and nafs make us think it's not necessary. Don't turn your face from tasawwuf, from tazkiyah. You'll be so successful in this world and the hereafter when you purify your batin, your heart, then the adab, the habits of the Prophet ﷺ will start to descend into our lives. So, if we take the example of a sheikh and of tazkiyah, the Prophet ﷺ was the greatest sheikh. The greatest sheikh. And when a person takes the company of the sheikh, then the anwarat come into the person's heart. The same Sahaba Ikram, radiyallahu anhum. And then we look whose example shall I give you? There's so many examples. The adab, the manners of the Sahaba Ikram. Which examples shall I start from? And after tazkiyah, what they became. What they were before in darkness, and what were they after? Because they got the sheikh, and they got the nasiyah of their sheikh, the advice of their sheikh, the Prophet ﷺ. His blessed face was dhikr Allah, subhanallah. Rasulullah, his blessed face was, to see it was dhikr of Allah. Imagine the gathering of the Prophet. There was no great sheikh than him in history. There was no greater tazkiyah than that in history. And the Sahaba received that tazkiyah. No other generation can come in the history of mankind that can be equivalent to the Sahaba Ikram, the noble companions. Such a great generation that whoever saw the Prophet ﷺ was a Sahabi, and those who saw the Sahaba became Tabi'een, and those who saw the Tabi'een became the Tabi'een. The first three golden generations that no man in history can be equivalent to after that. Isn't this the case? This is the case. As Ali karamallahu wajh, radiyallahu anhu. In my mind at this time his example is coming. Take any example of any Sahabi. Beautiful, unique stories. Each companion had a great story to tell. They had characters. This companion, before tazkiyah, before seeing the Prophet ﷺ, the teacher, their sheikh, they were in the extreme of dhulm. A child is crying, Baba, father, you're burying me. And the father's burying her life because the parents couldn't stand having a daughter. They didn't want dishonor in society. And then let's go to the other extreme, when tazkiyah was done, because when the sheikh does tazkiyah, then that murid student becomes a sparkle, a glow in society. He doesn't stay a wretched human being with darkness in the heart. Am I right or am I wrong? This is the case. Do tazkiyah properly. Go to a sheikh, follow the principles of tasawwuf. This is not some minor game. This is one of the greatest subjects of Islam, taught by Rasulullah. Oh, no, it's okay, I can do it when I've got time. I'm simple. I'm very simple and humble. The change I saw in my life, I changed myself due to tazkiyah. And I know that what was there before tazkiyah was worse than an animal. I was worse, and a human being is worse than animals. You can decide yourself. If you do proper tazkiyah, as Ali karamallahu wajh, radun, he was walking and a bodybuilder came to him. And he had 50, 60 men next to him because gangsters are like, oh Ali, he said, yes, I don't believe in your God. Which God are you? I'm a kafir. Come, I challenge you. He was strong. And Hazrat Ali radun said, what's your problem? What's the issue? He said, which God do you believe in? He said, I believe in Allah. He said, come, can you fight with me? Can you wrestle with me? Now, let's see how good your God is and let's see how He helps you. And Hazrat Ali said, no, go on your way. He said, no, come. Yeah, let's see if your God can save you today. What He will do for you. Because Hazrat Ali radiallahu had mashallah power. And that man had power as well. Hazrat Ali radiallahu said, come, fine. Let's take the challenge up. And straight away he dropped the man onto the ground. Straight away he wrestled him to the ground. When he was on the ground, he was shocked. And Hazrat Ali sat on him and said, okay, so shall I wipe him away? Because he challenged me. And he was impure and he gave the challenge and he ridiculed my Rabb. So at that time, he had the chance to finish him off. But he tried to spit on Hazrat Ali on his blessed face. The spit could not come. Alhamdulillah. That blessed face that seen Rasulullah, can the spit come on his face? That was the face of Hazrat Ali radiyallahu anhu. Karamallahu wajhu. He tried to spit. And Hazrat Ali radiyallahu anhu, his blessed face, which was red at that time, suddenly it's like water had been thrown on his face and he calmed down and cooled down. He came off him and he stood to the side. And that man, he got up, he said, what's happening now? You stopped. You could have finished me off. You had a chance. How comes you let me off? And he said, Ali, what's going on here? Kamal, that we took up the challenge. You were so angry when I tried to spit on you and you didn't take revenge on me and you let me off. What's this point here? What's this issue? What's the reason behind this? He said, there's a very big reason behind it. He said, what's the reason? He said, this is Islam. He said, this is Islam? He said, yes, totally, this is Islam. He said that I was jahil like you before. And look, the difference is this, that when you were fighting with me and I was fighting you at that time, that I, for the sake of Allah, was trying to defend myself. And but when you tried to spit on me, then I was not paying attention to my batin, and my fighting with you at that time was out of anger, that you were trying to spit on me and I was getting angry. Our Islam does not teach this, allow this, that I take revenge. Our Islam doesn't allow us to do personal revenge. This is not the principle of the law. Rasulullah did not give us this tarbiyat, that due to our personal nafs we give pain to anyone, rather we leave that person at that time for the sake of Allah. And he was jahil, and these were those who used to kill him. When he heard this, that this is Islam, the justice and the equality. Now look today, how do we present Islam today? I ask you the example compared to today, because we have no tazkiyah today in our qawm, and this is azab from Allah today, that how today we are opposite extreme of this. People say, look at Muslims, Islam is teaching this, it's against the peace, because when we leave Allah Ta'ala's guidance, then this is what happens in our society. This is the result of leaving Allah Ta'ala's guidance. So what happened then when he heard this jahil, this wrestler, he said, listen, if this is Islam, then quickly tell me how to recite the kalima, so I can also become a non-believer. From decades, when he recited the kalima, there were 80 or scores of men with him. When he recited the kalima, then all of those men with him said, Subhanallah, we also come into Islam with you. So one individual, Hazrat Ali Karamah, had done tazkiyah, and we are sitting today. How many people are friends with us today? The country we're living in, how many people are friends and how many are our enemies? Why? Because our character is dark. We are spoiled. They know our characters are. Otherwise, why would this qawm dislike us? This qawm that called us here, gave us refuge and assistance and financial safety, food and framework, jobs, employment. Why? But we are not grateful. They've allowed us to build masjids and mosques, permission. What's the reason? Without tazkiyah, they have seen our character and said that these people are liars. They do evasion of tax. They consume tax. They're like gangsters. We thought they wouldn't come in and consume our tax. The Sharia says that country that you're living in, Sharia says that country that you're living in, then totally follow their laws and principles, because the laws and principles of the land, Sharia imposes upon you, you have to follow them. But we say, no, eat this money and lie to them here. And to deceive them is jaiz. Astaghfirullah ta'ala rabbi min kulli. We say it's allowed to deceive them. Now if a person is born in this land who's sincere, and this qawm will be proud of him that he's a Muslim, he's just, and he's got equality. But the reason when there's no tazkiyah, eat, drink and be merry, and make money, haram, halal, tax, interest, have no knowledge of what is jaiz. We make excuses. Let me get a fatwa from a mufti, so everything I want which is haram is jaiz, and I can start to earn it and eat it. Get any excuse to do haram, so I can make it jaiz and permissible to do. That's our attempts to do. That when the dirt that's inside us. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu, how did he have this effect on him? Tell me this. The Sahaba Ikram, where did they get this beautiful effect within them? Look, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his blessed habits, there was the expedition of Uhud, and such a severe time on the Sahaba, and the Prophet ﷺ got pain at the expedition of Uhud. Maybe no other expedition gave pain, and his blessed tooth was shaheed, and there was a wound on his blessed face, and the blood was flowing, and the Sahaba Ikram were distressed. Some of the other Sahaba had been killed. There were wounds on their bodies, and the Sahaba Ikram were in a sad state at that time. And imagine the lesson we learned from that event at that time. What's the lesson we learned? Allahu Akbar. Nabi al-Kareem Sallallahu put his hands up, raised his hands to the skies and said, Allah habdi qawmi fa'innahum la ya'lamun. Subhanallah. That Rasulullah loved humanity so much that imagine how much he loved his ummah. Tell me. Those people who hated him so much, Sallallahu they did dhulm against him, oppression, blood is flowing. From Rasul's blessed words, imagine the words, look at his forgiveness. He said, Allah, my Mawla, my Lord, this qawm, give them hidayah, give them guidance, show them the path, Allah. Show them the way. Allah, put your fadl and grace on them. Bring these people close to you. These people, look how Rasulullah took the side of humanity in front of Allah's Jalal. How Rasulullah made a prayer that these people don't know, they've not recognized me who I am, what message I've brought to them. They're still ignorant. Allah, give them a chance from whom I've come. What is my shakhsiyat? What's my personality? They don't still recognize me. Allah, they've not recognized me. Allah, give them another chance. Give them another opportunity. The Sahaba Ikram, they were already in distress, pain. They came forward and said, Ya Rasulullah, you're doing dua for them. You should curse these people. Some of the Sahaba said. Look at Rasulullah's response. Subhanallah. Rasulullah said, he stated, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that I did not get sent for la'na, for curse. I was sent for rahmah, for mercy. I was sent as a mercy to mankind. When this was mentioned to the Sahaba Ikram, from this quality the reflection came into their bodies at that same time, to the Sahaba. The noor of this expression came into their lives, and their whole life after that was an expression of mercy. The greatest events after that, the Sahaba forgave, because in that event of Uhud, the expression of Rasulullah fell onto their hearts, and then it reflected in the decades of the life of the Sahaba. Understand my point of tazkiyah? So when we go to the qabr, we have to take this with us into our graves, otherwise we will just be a bubble in the grave and there'll be nothing within, and we will be consumed by the fire. So if we don't take the assistance of Rasulullah's tazkiyah, we don't purify our hearts and our batin through the qualities of Rasulullah that were within his heart and his body. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Allah Ta'ala said that I sent to him, to you, as a prime, beautiful example. How do we attain that? We have to study tazkiyah and learn from the teacher. So my brothers, my sisters who are listening, this is a message to all of you today, big message, listen carefully. That you, if you get a sheikh, you find a true sheikh in your life, and you see that you've got an opportunity to do tazkiyah, and your heart feels he's a good teacher. Hazrat Tanvi Rahmatullah said, it's fard ain. It is fard compulsion. Every Muslim, first your wife, your daughter should say to you, it's fard for you. Bring the machine. Otherwise, how can you pray Jummah? How can you pray Salah? How can you go out and do the works of life? It's fard. If you take a loan, but bring the machine, wash yourself, because without the machine, you cannot wash the clothes. You'll make a utility room when you make a house, and you'll say, this is the room for the washing machine. This is where we're going to wash the clothes and hang the clothes. In the same way, the most important factor for a Muslim is to find the washing machine. The sheikh, without a sheikh, your life is a waste. Every day is a waste. It's like a wild, untamed horse who's galloping through the jungle. But when that same wild, untamed horse, the beautiful pedigree horse, when he's running around untamed in the jungle, but when a trainer comes, takes the leash, and he trains the horse, then people ride that horse in a beautiful way. Then the kings ride that horse. In the same way, human being, he's wild, he's like an animal. People in the world say, oh, don't go near him. His family are fed up with him, with his character. Friends don't like him. Businessmen are fed up with his business practices. His colleagues, his friends, his wife, his children are fed up. Father, don't come home. Whenever you come home, there's fasad. Wife says, don't come here. How did I get married to this man? Women, their characters are bad. The man gets fed up with the wife. What kind of wife I got in my life? It's better I didn't even get married in the first place, they say. When the wife's so wretched. And look at the raham that Rasulullah gave us a gift. That a woman, the gift is a great husband. And for a man, the great gift is a good wife. How can a wife have hatred for the husband? How can a man have hatred for a woman is sakina. He comes tired from work, from the world, and she gives him peace and calmness and relaxation. And that's why the woman is said that when you get a husband, he was not good for you, he treats you badly, then have sabr, because he is good for you. When you sacrifice your nafs, suppress your nafs, then you will be given the highest grade of woman, more than 1,000 rakats of tahajjud. But the woman doesn't understand this point, the teaching of Rasulullah, and she wants to demand her desires, because she hasn't done tazkiyah, she hasn't got the link with the sheikh, she hasn't been taught the sunnah of Rasulullah to have sabr, even if there are hard times with husband. So understand also, husbands, the jazba of your wife. Understand her requirements. She is not your servant. She hasn't come to your house to make chapatis or to brush the dirt off the floor. She also has a status. She also has rights. Understand the demands. If you have pleased your wife or husband, Allah's Nabi Sallallahu said that the Nabi will be pleased with you on the Day of Judgment. Imagine if your wife and your women are happy with you, then you are the best of men. This is also hadith. But why don't we get this in our lives? Why don't we understand? Why does the husband dislike the wife, and why does the wife dislike the husband? Why do they dislike the children? Because we haven't done tazkiyah in our hearts. So this is an essential subject. Study it, brothers. Just like it's essential to have a washing machine, to go to a sheikh, to have a connection with him, to have company of the sheikh, to listen to his nasiyah. It's just like having a washing machine in your house. Otherwise your life is difficult and it's becoming a waste. If you're 70, 80 years old and you haven't found a sheikh, then find him now. Sit in his company, learn his nasiyah, listen to his discussion, listen to his words, bring it into your heart, and then do amal on his nasiyah. Follow his guidance. Only then will there be benefit. If you put the clothes in the machine and there's no water coming in from the pipe, then how's it going to get washed? So listen to the sheikh's words, then don't take it in the right ear and bring it out the left ear. Okay, you got a sheikh, if there's no water, if the machines come, you don't listen to his words and there's no water, then put the clothes in the machine and they will burn with the heat. But if you got a sheikh and you don't accept his nasihah, then it's just like the water's not coming into your heart. How will you do your tazkiyah? If you got the water, you got the sheikh, and you got to the point you're listening and accepting his nasiyah and you're doing amal and you're practicing, and after that the question will come to you, is this, yes, I've got dirt inside me, I've got this impurity. How sad that you are listening to the nasiyah, but why are you not doing amal? If he's told you this is haram and you're still not leaving the haram, you still haven't got the tawfiq to save yourself from haram, then what's the point of the nasiyah? So you got the sheikh, you listen to the discussion, but the water's not come into your machine yet. It's a waste. So you got nasiyah, discussion, advice. The third thing, the detergent. So you're still going to have the stains. You're still going to have the stains. So if you got the machine, the sheikh, you got the nasiyah, which is the water, then you need to take the detergent, the soap, which is the dhikr of Allah, regularly in the same pattern. If he says in the morning do this much dhikr, in the evening do this much. Yes, if it doesn't adjust to you, then go back to Sheikh, Hadhrat, I'm not doing, it's not munasib, it's not compatible for me. Please tell me another tariqah method or how much quantity so I can fulfill the requirement. Then the sheikh will give you the advice. He'll adjust the prescription. If you bring your desire, sometimes you do it, sometimes you leave it, sometimes 10, sometimes 5, sometimes you miss. No, this is not tazkiyah. This is not tazkiyah. I went to my sheikh with the niyyah of tazkiyah. I've got to this age, so alhamdulillah, the nasiyahs my sheikh gave me decades ago, those tasbeehs, every day I try my best to fulfill that same quantity. Because I know, how can I do my tazkiyah if I don't do that quantity? Otherwise I'll be an animal. The same bad habits will come in my life. The same richness, I can train the horse as much as one. If I send him back to the jungle, then slowly he'll become the wild, untamed horse again of the jungle. Rather, he'll become more dangerous. If you get a sheikh, you got the teacher, you got nasihah, you got dhikr, and then still people say he's an animal, run away from the smell of this person, then he's the most dangerous of people. It's sad. So 2-3 points we've learned today. Those individuals who think it's a minor, it's not important, they're totally foolish, they're stupid, they've not recognized that dirt in their hearts and their body when they go in the grave, then the punishment will start. Remember this. If you want to know how much dirt you've got in your hearts, then go and ask people, how much do you like me? Am I a good person? Do you think good? What should happen? Even your enemy, even if he doesn't like you, he should say, no, he's a good person. That this was the character of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wasn't it? Abu Jahl party, even they said, Rasulullah, we accept you. We know you're honest. We know you are deserving of prophethood. We accept this and you've got the greatest of qualities. But their pride and takabbur was that they didn't want tazkiyah. They didn't want to clean their hearts. It was the takabbur was they didn't want to bring themselves to purification. The same person who doesn't have done tazkiyah, he can have hundreds of thousands of things against him. But the person who does go towards tazkiyah and he's still got the bad qualities, then that's the worst of result. So do you understand the importance today? I repeated many times. Do you understand what I'm saying? How important this is? Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is tazkiyah. Study it. Those people who are listening understand the importance. May not be you've got this great subject of tazkiyah and the grave expels you due to the fire. You're going with dirt and stains. You've got a machine, best manufacturer. You've got water and the clothes come out with dirt. You'll kick that washing machine and get rid of this and replace it with something else. So this is the situation. Accept your deficiencies. Look yourself in the mirror. May Allah Ta'ala give me and you all the tawfiq that Allah Ta'ala allows us to understand this path of tazkiyah. Wa akhiru da'wahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ameen.